if we go back really old school to something that I've studied a lot, the samurai Bushido code, we can borrow some of that. And Bushido values, it's a profound way to see the world from a very well informed, very balanced masculine outlook. It's complex. The Japanese during the time of the samurai were very complex. It was contemporary, even though it was, you know, so many hundreds of years ago. They were also mindful and they were committed in so many ways, and that's why the legacy is so strong. And that legacy of strength, honor, and meaningful connections is so strong. Even hundreds of years later, we're still studying it. So I think it's worthy of digging into. Let's look at some of these things. Okay, so there are five. There's five, and they can be memorized, and I think you should. But let's look at these things. So rectitude, uh, upholding integrity in modern life would be one way of looking at how we sort of interpret that. So the samurai valued this rectitude by emphasizing the importance of their moral integrity. I think modern men can incorporate this value by staying true to their principles, and we've talked about this, whether personal, professional relationships or projects, upholding that moral integrity all at all times, like the example of, not talking about someone behind their back or being that person that's like, we really shouldn't do that. And I'm not talking about being a goody two shoes. Um, I don't think the samurai were goody two shoes. I mean, they're known to party and do all kinds of stuff. They would also murder the crap out of you, but um, having that moral integrity to not cross those lines, and not only to just do that, but to do it to the point where other people know, they know you won't cross that line, and you become that person that everyone looks up to and relies on because of that. Courage is another one of the Bushido values. Facing modern challenges boldly is one way to write that. It's fundamental in today's challenges. Modern, we can draw inspiration from samurai's courage in the way that they would fight to the death, right? The way they would embrace challenges, the risks they took, facing those things with resilience and bravery. Okay, not being a sniveling worrywart about absolutely everything. And I'll tell you a story here. I just had a conversation with someone about some of this stuff. They were talking about a problem they were having um, in the business they own with their partner, and they were worried their partner was doing something wrong. And they were like, but his partner has got they've got a family, and they got all this stuff going on, and maybe that's the reason. And I just remember thinking, that's all good, but like, you've got business and then you've got personal family stuff, and that person is mixing those things in the sense of almost hurting you with some mistakes and decisions that they're making, and remembering that that person is making those decisions. And we have business on one side and we have personal life on the other side, and their expectation is that you're not going to bring in your personal life into the business, then but they are. And you have to face that with the right amount of courage to not be afraid to have that conversation. And I I think what I said was like, if you want to deal with the business side, deal with that, and then later have hey man, are you okay? Let's sit down and find out what's going on in your life. That person probably has some stuff going on, but you've got to be able to have those conversations. And I think we talk about modern issues. That's really what it is. It's not, the samurai face. We think of courage. They draw their sword and they go into war. That's one level. But I think it starts way earlier with my long-winded explanation of having a hard conversation with someone. I think it starts there. Because if you're there and you're afraid to have that hard conversation, and listen, I am too most of the time. But if you're afraid to have it, if you're afraid to, when called upon to give your opinion, give your honest opinion, if you're afraid to do that, then how could you ever expect to pick up the sword and defend your family or your country when you need to, right? They go hand in hand. It's just something to think about.